All right, Shalom. Call Loyum, La Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Shalom to you, fellow laborers, doing the work in truth and in sincerity, especially during these times. Shalom to the few Akwaf that believe as well. A hearty shalom to you, other laborers and believers that are scattered abroad. Whether you be among the heathen and even look like the heathen who are speckled bird Israelites, to the household of faith, which is the elect, I want to say shalom to you. This is why we have to make it plain. B.O.T.W, which is believers of the way. Okay, that's the acronym for believers of the way. And what inspired me to do this video was I was watching the elder out of South Carolina, the elder Manata Zakba, and he was doing a video on the video he had done of Believers of the Way about the M.O.T.B. And this is what inspired me to do this video. And it's pretty much like I'm lambacking off his video. Okay, and this video clip I got right here, and I want to say fair use by the way. My videos are not monetized, only for literary and commentary, educational purposes. All right, and with that fair use, I want to show you something going on in this video where it clearly, all right, is the talking point in the mainstream news media, right, about the M.O.T.B. and also on the alternative outlets, you know, on this whole internet, you know, which is the, you know, I'm sorry, the unicorn, you know. But yeah, as you see what's going on the internet, unicorn, you know, where the line is going forth throughout the earth, and man, the M.O.T.B., which is the acronym for the mark of the beast, which is the RFID technology, whether it be the one that goes to your hand or one that's the size of a grain of rice, all right, or the one that goes in your forehead, which is the Neuralink, as they call it, which is many or several companies that, you know, make, you know, those brain devices and also the hand devices, all right, but they all have radio frequency identity or identification, same thing. So with that being said, that's the talking points that's going on. I'm gonna kind of jump to some key parts of this video and let you hear what's going on. I'm gonna bring out a few precepts and prove why we have to make the vision plain, okay? Which the vision is the M.O.T.B., which John the Revelator did see while he was on the island of Patmos, all right? He was in prison, and the Lord gave him the vision of the M.O.T.B. Okay, so with that being said, let's play the clip. Again, fair use.
Well, they keep telling us this digital ID is all for convenience. It's all to improve our lives, but is something darker, more nefarious going on? Will we be able?
And that's the way they play it to you. All right, that's exactly how they feed it to you. They feed you the M.O.T.B. all right, through the means of convenience and safety. Okay, convenience and safety. You know, can nobody hack your, you know, into your identity, whether it be your SSN number, you know, your normal identification method, driver's license, state ID. Can't hack into your bank accounts, you know, your financial, you know, institutions. You can always have it on you at all times. You would never lose it. It'll always be in you. And you would just have to simply wave your hand or have your head scanned. Okay? And that's the way that the devil has been pitching this M.O.T.B. to the people. Okay? But again, when you go into the scriptures, it says what? We are not ignorant of Satan's devices. Okay? So we're not ignorant of the devices and the talking point or the rhetoric that come out your mouth that's wicked and persuading people to think that the M.O.T.B. is okay. So let's play a little more.
Go to our bank without this digital ID? Will we be able to live our lives without a digital ID? Is it all about control? And where is this coming from? Where did this emerge from? My bet is some unelected.
Well, first of all, it emerged from the Holy Bible. All right, the scriptures. Let's get that real quick, man. See? Isaiah 34 in verse 16, it reads, it says, "Seek ye out the book of the Lord and read. No one of these shall fail, none shall want her mate. From my mouth it had commanded, and the spirit it had gathered." So, when you look at what's going on in the world, what told you everything that's going on, that took place, and what's going to come to pass? It's the Bible. All right. When people want answers to why your lives is in such situations that is in, well, the Bible can give you answers. All right, through who? The men of the Lord, the prophets. See, because the prophets have the understanding of the prophecies, which are contained what? In the book. The book being the Holy Bible. All right. The prophecies of the Bible will not fail. Okay. The Lord is a man that he cannot lie, and he's bound by his word, man. And we know that to be true. Even just dealing with us, the prophecies that, or the prophetic curses that would come upon us for being disobedient. As the scripture saying in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, that they should be upon us for a sign. What? A prophetic sign or mark that you can see that we're under the curses, or evils that came upon us for being disobedient to the Heavenly Father. Okay? That's another example of how no one of these prophecies of the scriptures will fail you, man. Okay? Let's go back to the video.
Where did this emerge from? My bet is some unelected globalists, but we'll get to the bottom of all of that today on
But who gave the instruction to the globalists, which are the elites, the Chaldeans, the modern day Chaldeans are the elites, the central banking families, or globalists as he named them. That's another name for them, or a title for them, the globalists. All right, which are the central banking families, man. Okay, the Lord used them. Let's get another scriptures, a couple scriptures on that. Okay, the book of Job, chapter 33. The Lord, the one that gave it, man. Right, the Lord give you your instructions. Let's read it. Job 33 and verse 15. "In the dream, in the vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, and slumberings upon the bed, then he openeth the ears of men and sealeth their instruction." See? So the Lord sealed the instructions, all right, of everyone. All right, when you're lying down in the bed, the Lord gave you your instructions. That's why the scripture say in Proverbs, what? A man's goings are of the Lord. All right? A man's goings are of the Lord. And so how then can a man understand his own way? Right? And here's the point. Verse 17. It says that he may withdraw man from his purpose and hide pride from men. Right? Because we're all put down here to fulfill the Lord's purpose for whatever he wants us to do. And for us Israelites, all right, for us to play the role of the righteous, and in particular, who's filling that role is the elect, all right, the hopefully elect of the nation of Israel that's filling that role of the righteous. 2/3 just want to remain in wickedness. And they're going to be destroyed right along with the wicked, which is Esau, Edom. All right, that's the wicked, all right, seed, the Edomites, okay? So, that's what it is, man. The Lord gave the instructions, man. All right, so let's get another one. I'm going to grab this real quick. Okay, right up to Proverbs 16, verse 9. "A man's heart," which the word there is lab in the Hebrew, which means, your mind. So you put the word mind there. "A man's mind devised his way, but the Lord directed his steps." Why? Well, I just read it in the book of Job 33. Because the Lord had sealed his instructions, man. So the Lord put on the minds of the elites to have this B.O.T.W made and created for what? His purpose. Remember, Proverbs 16 and 4 says what? The Lord made, I'm in the same chapter, matter of fact. Shalakia. going to verse 4, the Lord, right? Yahweh is his name, okay? Yahweh had made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked, for the day of evil. See? So the wicked elites, they were set up by the Most High. Oh, let's prove that again. Romans 13. Right? Romans 13:1. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers. For there is no power but of the Most High, Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. The powers that be are ordained of the Most High. See? You read the NLT, it says, everyone must submit to governing authorities, for all authority comes from the Most High, and those in positions of authority have been placed there by the Most High Yahweh. See? So the Most High is the one that puts, whomever he wants in the ruling seat. All right, and that's just what it is. And if you go against that, guess what? You're going to bring a swift destruction upon yourself, because you're going against the orders of the Most High. Okay, and that's something that's detrimental to you. See, so you'll be doing your own self a disservice. Okay, so let's go from there back to the video. Again, fair use, fair use. Let's see a little bit more. I got a couple points I'm going to make.
But we'll get to the bottom of all of that today on the show. I'm lucky to be joined by Hakeem Anwar. He's the CEO of Above Phone. He's put together a massive new report on digital IDs. He's been studying this perhaps more than anybody over the last number of years and has done incredible work on this. Hakeem, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Clayton. It's good to be here.
So they keep telling us we need to move to a digital ID, whether it's real ID. If you could walk through maybe the different variations of these IDs that are popping up in Europe, and we know a lot of it was a test bed in Ukraine using the Dia app, and people were basically moving their full identities over to the phone. We've covered that here on the show extensively, which was really a product of USAID funneling money into Ukraine as a test bed operation. But maybe you could go through some of the different variations of this move to a digital ID around the world.
So, over the past few months, I've been studying programs everywhere, and there's a difference in flavor of the programs in Asia versus the West, Europe, which try to be more democratic and progressive and interoperable. But at the end of the day, there are many different ways you can be enrolled onto this digital ID system. And a few of those, most digital ID programs encompass being able to log in to many government services. So this digital ID should make it easier to do things like paying taxes and getting social welfare, right? Things that everyone loves. And
that's true. That the B.O.T.W technology have several capabilities that can be used for social programs. Okay, and you have a lot of people that depends on those social programs, where you get disability. You could be on retirement. You could be getting all kinds of checks from the government. Welfare. And basically, that comes from the government. And those people that are on those programs are dependent on the government, like you've seen in the shutdown. And what have happened? You've seen people fall into decay due to not receiving their government benefits. See?
It's a single sign-on. That also means that it's interoperable, so it can be expanded to social media. And now in the UK and in the Australia with their Online Safety Act, this is like a natural next step to do age verification, because hey, the digital ID already has a way to, and it has your age saved on there. So this is
that's called gradualism. All right, gradualism, which is slow or progressive steps towards something. Okay, meaning it's moving towards something. It may take a little time, like the scriptures speak about. Though it tarry, right? Let's get that real quick, because sometimes it can seem that way, like something is tarrying, and when something tarry, it just simply means to take a while, right? The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2. And I'm going to come back here too and go up a couple verses, right? But let's read Habakkuk 2 and 3 right now. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. And like I said, the word tarry, when you look it up, okay, let's get this real quick. Let's get the etymology of tarry. Tarry, it says to delay in acting, procrastinate. Okay, so it may take a little, a little time, a little, but it will, eventually come. It says intransitive meaning, linger, continue in a place. So join. So it says to continue in the place, right? So, point. That's the point, man. All right. The point is that it will. Look at that, tarrying, delaying, waiting, loitering, right? So though it may, tarry, take a little while, maybe delay for a moment, but it said what? It will surely come. It will not tarry. And we live in a time right now where it's not tarrying, because what you see going on right now is they're talking about the MOTV more and more as the weeks go by. Each week is something new on the MOTV, almost seem like. And if you don't catch it, if the apostles don't catch it, some elder brother gonna catch it on down to the youngest brother in the camp. We all catch it, and then it all spreads through Israel, and that's how we all know. We all made aware because we are body. Okay. I'm talking about the Church of Great Millstone. That's how it works, man. Someone's gonna catch it, and somebody's gonna push it out to the body. Okay. And so we're seeing the MOTB not tarry. Okay. Let's go back to the video clip. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit more. It's about here.
Because we had to get enrolled to pay taxes, and they're now using this digital system where they require you to verify your biometrics with your phone. Wow. In order to pay your taxes. So we get the phone out and hold it up to your face, and you have to move your head around, just like you're setting up a new iPhone. So move your head around, do the whole thing, scans your face, takes pictures from, whatever, and then sends it off to the IRS. That seems to me maybe a second or third step in this process of them getting access to our biometrics for tracking purposes. What do you think about that?
And that's
I wasn't aware of.
It's like, and that's a key thing. Why do you think the 5G and they talking about 6G now, all right, being so important to the elites, and why they pushing it so heavy? It's because they setting up those towers, all right, to track the MOTB. And this is Esau, trying to be like the Most High. How do we know that? Because the Most High is all seeing, okay? All knowing. All right. Let's see here if I get this real quick. All right, Second Chronicles chapter 16 and verse 9, it says, "For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth, to show himself strong in the behalf of them whose heart is perfect toward him." So the Most High see everything, man. All right. The Most High sees everything. His eyes are what? 10,000 times, matter of fact, it's an Apocrypha. All right, 10,000 times brighter than the sun. Okay. You can get that too. All right, this is Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach 23 and 19. It says, "Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men, and considering the most secret parts." See? It says he knew all things ever they were created. So also after they were perfected, he looked upon them all. Okay? The Lord made us. He knows us through and through. He created us. He created us, us as beings, and he created our purpose for him, according to his will. See? And it's just that simple, man. But the point is, Esau want to be, all seeing, all knowing. He has cameras on the highways, the residential streets, fucking airport, or just public places in general, man. So what? He can identify you by what? Facial recognition, right? Knowing you at all times. And this is all part of being a slave, man. Remember that in hardcore slavery, Esau would put, he would keep tabs on you. That's why he had the patty rollers. So were slaves at all times, and if they were not in the right place, he would send the patty rollers, which today is the police, or law enforcement, as you want to call them. All right, to either put the slave back in his place, or even put him down if he get out of line and deem him, rebellious to the point where you can't bring him back. So that's what it is, man. Let's go back here.
That seems to me maybe a second or third step in this process of them getting access to our biometrics for tracking purposes. What do you think about that?
I wasn't aware of that new onboarding, and that's really scary because we have unalienable rights in this country, and it's really sad to see them just sidestep it. But that's kind of a consequence over the past few years, and we've kind of removed the data silos from different agencies in the United States. So now that they can share data from each other, and we have companies like Palantir that are more than happy to help, that this is really possible that verifying your identity with one agency will give them the foundation to build the digital ID on. And I think it's important for people to realize, like, once you give your biometric identity with your legal identity, you tie them together, there's nothing else you need to do. From their side, they have the master key they need, and they can create a digital ID for you. It doesn't really matter if you use it or not. They just kind of have it sitting on the back end. So they've done this in Italy. They've done this in Denmark. And I know you don't pay that. Well, in other countries aren't as important as the US, but they will take those databases and use them. Now, in the United States, so you have to worry about the IRS, which I wasn't aware of. So thanks for bringing that to my attention. You also have to worry about Real ID, which Real ID technically isn't a digital ID. It's just a standard for physical ID cards. It's an ISO family of standards, 18013. And so Real ID is the first part of that family of standards, and it just makes it really hard to forge an ID card. Now, there is the fifth part of the standard, which is mobile driving licenses, and that's also what's being used at the airports right now. TSA accepts it, and so when you enroll in one of these, that is a digital ID. You have created a digital ID, just kind of distributed by Google or by Apple. They're kind of the authorities there. They can sign it, and then it can be verified at the airport by TSA. So I would tell people to avoid those at all costs. And also another sneaky,
and that's also something that can go on the device, okay? But this is why it has to be plain believers as a way. You're the ones speaking against the M.O.T.W. Talking about if your mind, what do you say? If his mind is in the right place, he's not gonna take the M.O.T.W. anyway. Which, the elder brought the beautiful scripture to counter that, which is Jeremiah 17:9. The heart is deceitfully wicked above all things. And that's, let me get it, man. In fact, I kind of butchered it. Slakia, kind of butchered it. Jeremiah 17 verse 9, it says, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it, So, and that's something that's, for a person that thinks that pretty much, excuse me, that he want to lean onto his own understanding, and think that's it. What he say or whatever conjures in his mind, that's it. Well, you can be deceived by your own thoughts, man. Okay. Ecclesiastes, also known as Sirach 37:14, for a man's mind is sometime want to tell him more than 7 watchmen that sit above in a high tower. See? And above all this, pray to the Most High that He will direct thy way in truth. All right, and so that's that's the reason why you need to pray to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay, that the Lord leads you and guides you in the right direction. Okay, if you want His. Okay, Verse 16, let reasoning go before every enterprise and counsel before every action. Yeah, seek counsel, man. Don't just fucking be presumptuous or be having, be one of those novice or teaching having itching ears. Seek counsel, man. Seek counsel, man. Two minds are better than one, man. Seek counsel. But you got some guys that just want to seem like they're on some level, and that's how a lot of guys fall out, man. They become their own stumbling block, But anyways, let's go back here. All right. Let's go back here to Habakkuk 2. All right. Habakkuk 2. And back at verse 1, it says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and my watch will see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it. See? So you got to make the vision plain. When you look at the word plain, it means evident. All right? Let's see. Make it plain, right? Plain. The Hebrew word there is ba'ar. Excuse me. Says to make plain, distinct, to make clear. Right, make it clearly understood. Look at this. It says to dig by analogy, to engrave figuratively, to explain. All right? We got to give an answer, to people, all right? When they come up to us and ask us about the MOTB, especially our people. And then, you don't know who's our people, by them just coming up. You have to, test the spirits by the spirits. You have to try the spirit by the spirit, So, just because somebody like a heathen don't mean they're actual heathen. You got to try, the spirits, man, again. All right, but the point is you got to make it plain, make it evident. Because the word plain goes into evident, I believe. When you go to the etymology, let me see if I can get it real quick. It means to be evident, I think. Flat, smooth, flat, even, level, explicit, yeah. Explicit, clear, evident, okay? You got free from obstruction, meaning simple, sincere, ordinary. All right? Oh, look at this. Unembellished, without decoration, unadorned. Yeah, make it just simple and plain, man. Of words, speech, etc. Direct and to the point. So when somebody asks you about the MOTB, get direct to the point. All right, be direct and to the point, man. Not it could be sin, it could be Christianity, it could be ideology. No, fuck that, man. That's the confusion. You're supposed to warn the people and give a warning to them so that they can prepare themselves to, if it's the Lord's will, take cover for their own lives, man. To preserve their own lives. But if you don't warn them the right way, as a watchman is supposed to do, then how the fuck they gonna be warned, man? Let's get that in 1 Corinthians 14, man. 1 Corinthians 14 and verse 8, I believe. Yep. It says, forth the truth. Now, keep in mind, all right, matter of fact, before I read this, let's get this in Joel. Let's get Joel. All right, what's it, Joel 2? Joel 2 and 1. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Now, who is Zion? That's the people of Zion, the Israelites. All right. Now all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand. The point is, blow the trumpet, and depending on how you blow the trumpet, which the trumpet today is just truth. But in the ancient times, the way you would blow the trumpet, the people will take necessary precaution according to how you blow it, because each tone of the trumpet had a different sound. The way you blow it had a certain sound, and that certain sound had a certain meaning to it. And that sound can't be corrupted. The sound has to be, plainly where everyone can understand it and hear the sound and know what that sound means and take cover, take warning, man. And that's the same goal for this truth, man. Let's go back to 1 Corinthians 14:8. For if the trumpet give an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself to the battle? Exactly. Again, you got to make it plain. All right? Got to make it plain, believers of the way. If you're not making it plain to the people, well, you're not giving the proper warning. And the Lord can hold them, Israelites, all right, blood on your hands because you didn't warn them. You know? And that's the whole point, man. So, yeah, anyways, with that, I'm going to close. You know, this is just a warning, man. You know, we're in the last days of Esau's rule. And if the people don't have anything as far as any tangible things to make them take heed and be warned and move accordingly because someone is not giving them the whole truth, that's a problem. Now, if you're giving the whole truth to them, the whole warning, all right, and if they don't take heed now the blood of their own blood is on them. But you've saved your soul. So that's why it's important to give, you know, a sound warning. Anyways, with that, I'm going to close. I want to say all praises and glory be unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Shalom to, you know, the Lord's elect. I want to say Abba Ball. And until next time, I'm going to bid you Shalom.